Welcome to the start of the Jimmy McGill story, the man who would eventually become the world's most famous jugadu lawyer. Before the neon signs and the inflatable Statue of Liberty, there is only this drab, oversized brown suit. Jimmy is completely broke. He sleeps in a cramped boiler room at the back of a Vietnamese nail salon and survives by stealing sips of the complimentary cucumber water meant for the customers. His professional life is a cycle of humiliation. He works as a public defender, a lawyer appointed by the court for people who cannot afford one, losing cases for pennies. He spends his afternoons arguing over parking validation stickers with the courthouse toll booth attendant, Mike Ehrmantraut. Jimmy is doing the unglamorous work and trying to follow the rules, but the Albuquerque legal establishment rarely makes room for a correspondence school graduate operating out of a strip mall. To change his luck, Jimmy targets a whale client, Craig and Betsy Kettleman. Craig is a county treasurer accused of having embezzled $1.6 million, meaning he allegedly stole funds he was supposed to manage for the city. When the Kettlemans reject Jimmy for a prestigious corporate firm called HHM, he decides to retreat to his old slip-and Jimmy habits. If he can't win them over with his law degree, he is going to do it with a con. He hires two skater twins to stage a fake car accident with Betsy Kettleman's station wagon. Jimmy plans to arrive at the perfect moment, save her from a lawsuit, and secure her legal business. But the skaters target the wrong car. They accidentally throw themselves into a vehicle driven by the grandmother of Tuco Salamanca, a high-ranking and exceptionally violent cartel boss. A single attempt to trick a corporate client has backfired completely. Jimmy is no longer just a struggling lawyer. He is now a witness to the inner workings of the Mexican drug cartel. Tuco drags Jimmy and the skaters into the absolute isolation of the Albuquerque desert, fully intending to execute them for disrespecting his grandmother. Jimmy treats the desert floor like a courtroom. He delivers a masterful negotiation, talking Tuco down from a death sentence to a settlement, where the skaters escape with just one broken leg each. This brush with the cartel leads to a chain reaction. Tuco's associate, Nacho, decides he wants the Kettlemans' stolen millions for himself. Fearing for their lives, the Kettlemans stage a kidnapping and vanish into the woods. Jimmy tracks them down to a campsite, finding the family clutching a duffel bag of cash. To ensure his silence, the Kettlemans offer him a $30,000 bribe, which he accepts. This is the seed money Jimmy needs to build a legitimate practice. He finally has the cash to look like a successful lawyer, even though every penny of it was paid to keep a crime a secret. Jimmy uses the money to troll Howard Hamlin, the boss of HHM. He rents a billboard that meticulously copies Howard's branding, hair, and even his expensive pinstripe suit. When the city orders the billboard removed, Jimmy orchestrates a fake rescue. He captures himself on camera saving a worker dangling from the sign, turning himself into a local news hero overnight. The fame brings in clients, but most are eccentric. Jimmy eventually finds his rhythm in elder law. He styles himself after the 90s TV lawyer Matlock, handing out Jell-O cups and drafting wills for senior citizens. Jimmy is successfully translating his theatrical instincts into a specialized legal practice that senior citizens trust. He is finally making progress by leaning into his natural showmanship. While drafting wills, Jimmy discovers that the Sandpiper Crossing retirement home is systematically overcharging its residents. He has stumbled onto a massive class action fraud scheme, a case where a large group of people collectively sue a company for the same harm. He brings the evidence to his brother, Chuck McGill. Chuck was once a brilliant legal mind, but is now housebound, convinced he suffers from a debilitating allergy to all things electrical. Working by gaslight, the brothers piece together mountains of paperwork. Jimmy carries this evidence to Chuck's elite firm, HHM, expecting a partnership and a seat at the table after years of being ignored. HHM agrees that the case is worth millions. However, Howard Hamlin delivers a brutal message. The firm will take the case, but they will not hire Jimmy to work on it. Despite doing all the groundwork and securing the evidence, the corporate gatekeepers are locking Jimmy out of the building. Jimmy suspects Howard is responsible for the rejection, until he notices something on Chuck's phone. Chuck, who claims even a battery causes him physical pain, had a dead battery the night before the HHM meeting. Chuck had forced himself through the pain to make a secret call to HHM. He was the one who demanded that Jimmy never be hired. In a final confrontation, Chuck tells Jimmy he will never be a real lawyer. He compares Jimmy with a law degree to a chimp with a machine gun, calling him a fraud who poisons everything he touches. Heartbroken, Jimmy stops trying to prove himself. He walks away from the chance at a respectable career, puts on a ring that belonged to his old con artist partner, and decides to play the game by his own rules. Chuck's betrayal provides the final push Jimmy needs to abandon his search for legitimacy. He leaves the path of the public defender behind and steps toward a future where the law is just another tool for the hustle. If you enjoyed this recap, hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, and be sure to watch our